Can you really raise money to fund your business in this economy? Stay tuned and find out now. Please follow our interactive conversation on Twitter by following @SolutionsTV and the hashtag at the top of the screen. Get your pen, get your paper, get your tablet, call a friend or colleague to join you. The journey to economic dignity and vetted solutions begins right now. We'll be right back. Welcome to Solutions, the definitive source for vetted economic dignity, knowledge, and access. Our collaborative journey towards our definitive purpose begins right now. I want to encourage you today in speaking to your life that this painful and necessary shift and intentional change in our lives, families, communities, government, businesses, and churches will be counted towards our collective manifest destiny. Let's embrace it, learn it, live it, and give it. Be open-minded, complete your due diligence, take action, get results. Today's conversation is on economic dignity, investing capital and raising capital for businesses in this economy. The parable of the talents in Matthew 25:14-30 outlines the challenge that is before us. For it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Question: are you investing for your future? You can follow this conversation and interact with us via Twitter, Facebook, eFactor, and LinkedIn. Share your thoughts by following @SolutionsTV or using the hashtag economic dignity. It's on the screen. Joining me today from downtown Atlanta's 200 office, the premier business lounge and accelerator for startups in Atlanta at 200 Peachtree, is Mr. David Kandell. Mr. Kandell is the president of Diverse Financial. His expertise is in estate planning and wealth management. David served as the president of Hollywood Records, a Walt Disney company, and also served as president of Packard Bell, of which he sold to NEC in a multi-billion-dollar transaction. Also joining me is Mr. Mark Wilson, who's currently the president of Wilson IV. His expertise is entrepreneurship, capital raising, and investment. Mark founded Ryla in his basement in 2001, and he built that startup to 5,000 employees and $100 million in revenue. He's also a member of the Young Presidents Organization. Mr. Don Maxwell is the EVP, Executive Vice President of 24 Asset Management Corporation. His expertise is real estate ownership, capital raising, and investment. Don played in the NFL and Canadian Football League and delivered 27,000 loans valued at $4.5 billion during his tenure at Fannie Mae. He's recently raised a $1.5 billion REO real estate investment fund on Wall Street. Also joining us is Professor Alan Urech, who's the senior vice president and part owner of Peachtree 200 and the 200 office space that we're in today. Mr. Urech is also a professor of business and entrepreneurship at the Georgia State University to graduate and undergraduate students. His expertise is growing small companies into large companies. He was on the founding team of a startup, HBO & Company, which he helped expand from $3 million in revenue to $180 million in revenue. HBOC was sold in '98 for $13.8 billion. He also served as a volunteer president of a Roman Catholic lay ministry, the St. Vincent de Paul Society. He sits on numerous corporate and nonprofit boards. Ms. Terri Denison joins us. She's the district director of the Small Business Administration. Her expertise is business and economic development and public policy. In 1978, she was selected as a presidential management fellow. Hello, everyone. good. It's definitely good to have each and every one of you take time out of your busy schedules. Of course, you're retired, as you would jokingly say it now. It's good to be retired. But I definitely want to welcome you to Solutions. Our economy is in a crisis. But in this economy, there's still innovators and entrepreneurs that require financing to grow their startups or to grow their respective businesses. Mark, you recently sold your company, Ryla. Tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got started, and how did you raise startup capital for Ryla, briefly?
Well, our story is one that's pretty unique in that we raised money during a really similar time as what we're experiencing today. Not a good time in the economy, late 2001, early 2002. And I had the fortunate opportunity to take advantage of an opportunity for where I worked corporately with Dun & Bradstreet to start a business to support them. And as we got that opportunity, it was necessary to raise some seed capital, and we took a non-traditional route to do that. We went to community development venture capital as a source because it was so tough. And we were looking to raise a smaller amount of money. So we raised $700,000 in that round, grew the business to pretty significant levels, and then went back out to raise a second round of financing that we did in 2007 for about $7 million. And that was the catalyst to really kickstart the growth in the company. We went from 15 to 25 million to north of 100 million in a 2-3 year time frame.
2 to 3 years.
That's correct.
Wow, phenomenal. So you went from the basement,
yeah,
really from the basement to a big boardroom in essence, and one with accountability, of course, too.
Actually, the last year was the biggest jump. We went from 25 million to north of 100 million in 1 year. Wow. In just 1 year, 4x growth.
That's phenomenal. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. David, tell us a little bit about your journey as well, and how do you raise capital in today's market?
Well, we spend most of our time, rather than raising capital, and building and protecting wealth for our clients. We try to restore and help them to maintain their sanity in this very turbulent time. And there are so many folks in the U.S. that lost a fortune, their savings, their retirement funds, and really are astray right now and don't know what direction to take, on the private sector. And getting them into the right frame of mind and assisting them with some information is what's critical. People really don't have the answers. It's like, when you need electrical work done in your home, you don't call the plumber. I think it's kind of important that folks get the right advice rather than take a stab at what should be done, because you can't afford to lose your retirement fund. And when you get to your mid-50s and older, your income's not replaceable. It took you a long time to make it, and it's going to take you even longer to remake it. So I think you should have good, sound advice and customized solutions based on what you need, an individual solution, rather than a cookie-cutter approach. And that's what we provide for all of our clients, a customized solution based on what their individual current goals and financial retirement goals are as well.
Very, very good. Alan, how did you get started as a serial entrepreneur?
It's kind of a funny story. One of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to make a difference in some people's world. And so what I did was that I saw a real opportunity to really grow in the healthcare field. My opportunity was in the healthcare information technology field. And so what we did was that we wanted, this was back in the 70s, what we wanted to do is make a difference for not just for people, but quite selfishly, I guess, for myself and my family. And so what I was doing is I was looking at it from my family's standpoint, and how can we improve healthcare within the community and my family. And that's how I really got going on that particular area.
So it was really cause-driven. It was really, really cause-driven. Excellent. Don, how do you, we've talked, but how did you get to a point in your mindset or your consciousness by which you could wrap your hands around that you could actually go out and raise $1 billion fund? That escapes, the reach of most people, but get your mind around it.
I think, well, to give you the background on how that really happened was, I don't know if you realize this, but the Wall Street was involved in the subprime business,
Oh, really?
which was about $900 billion.
Right.
I heard that.
About $900 billion. Well, of course, subprime is no longer around anymore, but that money's still out there somewhere. So now what they have looked at doing is buying non-performing notes and REO, which is real estate owned foreclosures. The problem is Wall Street don't have access like I have access. So to gain access, they have to pay me to get there. So really, they gave me the fund because I have access, and then they allow me to make so much off the fund, which kind of capitalizes our business. Sure. So it's all about.
Were you born with this access, or when did you determine?
No, I wasn't born with the access.
Okay.
The access was because of the fact that I worked with Fannie Mae for years, and I've been in corporate America to the point that I have the relationship with banks. The other access you can have, and some people don't have to be in corporate America, is what they call political access, which we have that too. You know, we do a lot of work with the Congressional Black Caucus, who get us access, you know, to a lot of banks and opportunities, which then money wants to come in with us to you know, to get returns on their money.
But wouldn't you agree, you can't attract millions if you don't think millions, and you definitely can't attract billions if you don't think billions. When did you have this mindset shift? That's what I'm getting at.
That's a good point. My mind's, well, when I ended up going to Fannie, you know, I was just thinking, as you said, millions. But, you know, when you get to Fannie, you're talking B's and T's, billions and trillions. So I knew that that was in existence out there. So when I started speaking throughout the United States, the subject matter that I spoke about was B's and T's. I was talking to the urban community saying we can get access to B's and T's. So I know, you know, everybody want to get millions, but there's B's and T's out there.
Not a BLT, but B's and T's.
Right, like billion and trillion.
Billion and trillion, okay.
So that's where the mindset came from. And so when we formed the fund, and that fund is interesting, and maybe one day we'll talk about how that fund works. But when we formed the fund, it started out at $800 million. Then another group said, I would like to get access too, so they threw more in there. And then another group did that. Now I'm turning down people because, you know, I want to deliver. I don't want too much money.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's, you know, that's how it worked. That's how it happened.
Well, that's good. That's phenomenal. I hope that encourages a lot of people that are watching. Like you said, you weren't born with the access, but through due diligence, tenacity, perseverance, relationship building, and just, you know, being a good person. I think at the end of the day, you know, you treat people right, they open up doors for you, and you bring value to people, and they'll promote you as you promote them.
I want to make one more comment about that.
Okay.
Just, it's also partnering, because right now there's companies who want to gain access in the urban communities that really don't know how to get there. So if you're in that market and they want to get to that market, you can partner also, which allow you access to funds that they have.
Absolutely.
And
collaboration.
that's key.
Sure. And to meet those people, you have to be willing to go outside your comfort zone, meaning you can't hang out with all your friends, all the people you go to church with, can't be people that aren't in these other networks. So you have to stretch yourself and put yourself in some very uncomfortable situations sometimes to meet people that may not think like you, talk like you, they might not even vote like you.